Alright, today we're going to be jumping back into the Bitcoin price action because we are seeing some real interesting stuff here on the charts, such as Bitcoin continuing to be an absolute honey badger, sending straight up into my 64.5 level right after I uploaded yesterday's video. I was not expecting that at all, so we will go ahead and dive into this level we are at right now on the charts because it is a massive support resistance flip. If we are able to reclaim the 64.5 level into support and not fail it, then your next target is all-time highs. But if we are not able to reclaim this back into support, this could be the end of the bull market and we could be heading all the way down to $30,000 or even lower. But that's not to say any pullbacks here are bearish. No, absolutely not. We still have this CME gap here that was not filled, and we still have liquidity being built from those late longers we talked about in yesterday's video. If you remember, in yesterday's video we talked about how there was a short squeeze within this area, and then after the squeeze up, price started uptrending, but it was much slower momentum wise because the shorts had already been squeezed and these top longers were buying into a bunch of limit sell walls in the order books, showing that they were likely going to be on the wrong side of the market and that the market was going to flush them out at some point. We see these top longers continuing at the top of these candles. We do see a nice flush. We do see open interest to reset on this flush, but we don't quite wick through, right? This is a sweep level I have identified on the charts right above the single prints, so I would expect come down and grab this before a continuation up higher. But I will say, given the bullish momentum of Bitcoin, I will not rule out of the question whatsoever that it does not respect liquidity. It does not care that it left some down here and it will just continue to march on up. And potentially that could just be a warning sign later on. Maybe we go up to all-time highs and break that while still leaving the CME gap and a bunch of unfinished lows. And maybe that's just a sign that, hey, when we do break all-time highs, there might be a swing failure there, and not to get super euphoric. When we do, breach $75,000, that could be the top, and that's kind of my base case, right? Up thrust after distribution. I think that's going to wrong foot the most amount of people, including all of those bears, because their shorts are going to get liquidated and they're probably going to capitulate back into the market at that point. And before we do get too much into this TA, I thought I'd mention it. Today we had our weekly meeting for the Crypto Eagles. I think that went very well. We discussed the price action in depth, going over a lot more. Went ahead, recorded that, and posted it in that VIP Discord. If you're at all interested in leverage trading, been watching this channel and think I have some valuable insights into the market and think it might be worth your money to go ahead and invest it into my time, I am trying to provide as much value as possible in that Discord, and it is 50% off right now for a limited time. This will get you 3 months at just $20 a month. So if you want to learn more about that, links are in the description down below to become a Crypto Eagle VIP. Also, just join the regular Discord down there and you can talk to me and ask any questions you want in there. But let's go ahead and continue to talk about where we are on the chart. So you might notice I pulled a Fibonacci right through here from swing high, swing low. This is how I kind of enter my leverage positions, but I did not enter a short here because as price came up into the fibs, we see open interest continuing to trend up. And an even bigger reason is that this wick up here was an unfinished auction. You can see bidding at the top of that wick was very even between buyers and sellers, meaning that market participants are likely to go retest this price to find where the auction will fail or finish off, meaning that there will be significantly more sellers at a level or significantly more buyers at a level, and the level will fail, showing that it does not need to be tested again. And I think we could be nearing that point. Something else you will note: this yellow dashed line that comes across here, this is my sweep level. This is taken all the way back from this high right below our imbalance levels from June 20th. And I think a wick up into this area will be pretty violent because it will be filling that fair value gap. And if we are to swing fail that level, that's the important part, right? You need 30-minute candle closes below, 5-minute candle closes work. Just, swinging up into this price, grabbing the liquidity, and then coming back under is where I could potentially look to enter shorts. I also might just market some shorts if we get a really nice failed auction up into these sell walls, because that is something. Look at that. Look what just popped up. That is a 1,000 Bitcoin sell wall, along with these other sellers in the order books. A lot of selling pressure above this sweep level. I think, there's a lot of shorts that are continuing to kind of pile on because they've identified the 64.5 level as well. But because of that buying pressure, the auction's not being finished off, I think the market's going to fully rip us up here, and then that will decide, is the market truly more bearish? Are we going to swing fail? And that's where the good high comes in. Or is this going to potentially flip into support and we just go on up to all-time highs? And in this scenario is where I would be getting cautious because we had not tested any of the lower levels. But there's also the scenario we don't test this quite yet and we just pull back right now. You can see, we are kind of failing under the golden pocket. We did come up, tap the 886 within here, fell off of it, now back testing the golden pocket into resistance, and there is the chance we go ahead, come down here and clean out some of these levels first. This is the first big, liquidity level, and then as well as the CME gap. Let me show you the CME chart so you can see what I'm talking about. This big gap from the futures market over in Chicago, there's a good chance this goes ahead and gets at least partially filled before a continuation up on higher, and a correction down there would still be pretty bullish, assuming we don't sweep the liquidity up here. Although I will say we did sweep this on most of your other exchanges. So on Bybit, you can see the level comes in right at where the wick was, so I wouldn't really call that much of a sweep, right? We didn't grab much liquidity, but technically it was tapped. Everyone that put their stop exactly at the top of that wick, they got taken out. And then as well as the Bitcoin USD pair on Binance, not the USDT pair, they got swept within here. And then mainly on CME also swept. So you look at where the wick came in here, they got swept. So yeah, I would say at this point, with most of your exchanges sweeping, although you didn't get Binance USDT to get that sweep, you didn't get much of a serious wick through any of this stuff. This could be where things roll over. So we've got a lot of reasons on the charts to be staying cautious, right? When we look at the hourly time frame for our RSI, we got bearish divergences coming in here for sure. So, that's another bearish indication that we have on the charts. We also have this even on a 4-hour time frame as well. You can see higher highs on the candle closes, lower highs on the RSI there. So definitely due for a correction. Once again, assuming we do correct now versus a secondary sweep up, I am going to lean towards more of a bullish correction and not be thinking we're going to enter the bear market, although it's possible, right? We identified that most exchanges have swept, CME swept, so we'll keep that in the back of our head, but I would be looking for just kind of a pullback to sweep out these lows, potentially fill the CME gap down here, and then a continuation up higher. And I do kind of expect this stuff to get flipped into support and for us to continue up to all-time highs, because that's just my base case right now. That's what makes the most sense to me, where the altcoin market is at and what some of your other markets are doing, such as the dollar and the Russell. And let's go ahead and jump into that now. So looking over at the Russell 2000, we are almost at bull market 2021 all-time highs once again, pretty much at those range highs. You can see this is the value area high of last bull market's range, and this is showing extreme bullishness in your risk on assets. I do believe it's going to correlate with crypto. Bitcoin itself is acting as a risk on asset, so the fact that the Russell is skyrocketing right now is only bullish for us. And if this gets flipped into support and we go ahead and make an all-time high, then the sky is the limit on where crypto is going to go. So let's see what plays out here. Are we going to just reject value area high, kind of stay within this range, maybe make a slow uptrend and then break it later on? Are we going to swing fail all of this on the weekly time frame like we talked about? We still have 3 days left to finish off this week. This could just turn into a giant wick that was a bull trap. We'll just have to keep our eyes on this over the next couple of days and weeks to come. But so far, this is the biggest bullish indication on the chart right now onto why Bitcoin is probably going to those all-time highs. I really don't see how it couldn't with this much risk taking going on in the stock market, as well as with the S&P just continuing its parabola into outer space. We look here on the monthly time frame, complete price discovery on the S&P just continuing its blow off top. And when this thing does inevitably end up topping out, yeah, you're probably entering the next Great Depression. But is it going to happen quite yet? Probably not, right? We don't really have good highs anymore. We do see a bearish divergence kind of coming in here on the daily time frame, but these highs are pretty weak. I do expect, at this point we're going to get that big wick up to the top side at some point. These parabolas usually finish off with a bang, and I do expect when you do enter that final phase of the parabola is where you're going to see the most risk taking, the most euphoria in all assets, including Bitcoin, and I just don't think we're quite there yet. I'm not seeing bulls in full force once again, at least on Twitter and that sort of thing. I really do think for everyone to capitulate, we need to see those all-time highs on Bitcoin, and this is going to be my target for a top coming in. Not quite here, although I'm definitely looking to take out shorts in the market to hedge my portfolio, but not quite selling any spot at the moment. Just don't quite see any reason to do so yet, although we're at the potential level for it. I know I said, when we broke down here, this is a sign of weakness. I might be looking to sell on a retrace to 64.5. We have had the retrace. Now is the time you could potentially do some de-risking, but I bought in the bear market. I have the luxury of just kind of waiting. I would rather sell late and lose out on 20% than sell early and lose out on 200%. But it's not just the Russell that's telling me all-time highs is likely. The dollar has a perfect back test of the value area high of this macro range of 2023. A back test of this signals the target is now value area low, and coming down here is going to be extremely bullish for Bitcoin and all of your risk on assets. This was absolutely best case scenario on the dollar, and I really didn't know if it was going to play out this nicely. If you go ahead and watch my recent videos when I was covering the dollar, this was pixel perfect, rejected the value area, went ahead, broke down from this macro wedge. The breakdown of this wedge was enough to send us below value area high, and now we have a perfect rejection of that value area high, looking to go hunt down to value area low now. And once again, this target tells me Bitcoin going to go to all-time highs, assuming the charts do not change. And that's the one thing about the markets, is that you can never really predict them. The dollar could go back up and reclaim this. The Russell, like I was saying, could swing fail this on a weekly time frame. The S&P could go ahead and just swing fail, sweep real quick, and then be over. So still going to stay vigilant, especially with Bitcoin being at such a critical level. Going to be looking to potentially take some hedge shorts. But just like yesterday, so far so good. Bitcoin is looking extremely strong right now, and I do think we got some real exciting times ahead of us. But yeah, if you do have any questions about anything I talked about, or just want to join the community for this channel, link to my Discord is at the top of the description down below, and below that is the link to my VIP Discord that has that 50% off promo going on right now. So if you're at all interested in that, just click on that link, read more about it. There's also more information in that free Discord, so definitely go check that out. Also, I'm running an event with BingX right now for some awesome rewards such as deposit bonuses, etc., up to $7,300. So I have my sign up link and the event linked down below, so make sure to go check that out as well. And with that being said, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.